Welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about the multiplayer combat editor. In this video we're going to learn how to use the switch use feature built in the skill function. What is the switch use function? It is a function which basically says a skill can be recasted after being used the first time, and when you recast it you got the chance to modify the gameplay effect it has. And you can switch use how many times you want, a number of times, how many times you want. So we are going to open up any skill you have. In my case it's the slice skill, and we are going to say that when you use the skill it's going to have a second use. So how can you do that? Drag a wire out of the start node, type in switch use, and this node basically, when this triggers, this resets the use of the skill, and this makes us able to reuse it. So it gives us the possibility to switch the icons and the name and stuff like that. And we're going to specify something. I'm going to specify any icon I have, I do not care. And the duration is the amount of times you have to recast the skill, and if it goes beyond that duration, the skill goes on cooldown. So if I say, for instance, I have 1 second to recast the skill, and if I'm hitting play, when I press left click, I can recast the skill any amount of time I want before it goes on cooldown. But now, what can we do with this? We can change how it behaves, but by first saying, for instance, set main montage. This is going to change the animation the skill is playing after I use it the first time. So I have a /1 anim montage and I have a /2 anim montage. Both are set up to work. If you haven't set up your montage, check out the other videos. And I'm going to say that the main montage, this is the animation the skill is supposed to play when we trigger it. I'm going to say the main montage is the second montage I created. And we also need to say that if we already switched the use once, we need to reset the use. So how can we do that? By right clicking and typing get current use. Not that one. Get skill info. I want to get the executed use, and I'm not sure we do not have. This is current use is the executed use. This is the if this is 0, it means it's the first time we are using the skill. If this is 1, it means it's the second time, for instance. I'm going to disable all the pins but the executed use, like this. And I'm going to say switch on int. I'm going to add pins. And if it's the first time we are using the skill, we are going to switch the use. And if it's the second time, we are going to reset the use, like this. Compile, play. I can use it once and use it twice. Use it once. Use it once. Okay, so the time window is a bit short, so I'm going to specify I want 2 seconds. it's triggering the cooldown. There is a bug there. It's not a bug, but when I press, it's triggering the cooldown of the skill, and that's because montage skill are built in a way that consume the resources of the skill and the cooldown when you press the skill, regardless of your use. And when you are building a skill which is switching use, you typically don't want to trigger the cooldown of the skill at the beginning. You want to trigger the cooldown of the skill when you reset the use. So we are going to open up the montage skill by clicking on the key, going to the event graph, and in there we have an event called consume resources. We are going to call that event in our skill consume resources, and we are going to say that this event does nothing. This event is called by default in the montage skill and is consuming the resource and the cooldown, and we are going to manually take care of this. So if it's the first time we are using the skill, we are actually going to consume the cost. This is going to consume our mana cost. And if it's the second time we are using the skill, we are going to call trigger cooldown like this. And we are going to specify 1 second to reuse the skill, just to see if the bug was coming from just to see if the lack of timing I had to re-trigger was coming from the cooldown triggering too early or not, triggering at the wrong moment. So our cooldown was previously triggering right when we were switching use, and we did not want that. But we have another issue there. The time you see there, when I press the skill once, you see my skill seems to go on cooldown, but it is actually not going on cooldown. It's just that when you switch the use of a skill, it's triggering the progress bar animation, and it's also telling you how much time you have to reuse the skill. So for instance, if I specify 5 seconds, the skill is going to be recastable for 5 seconds. And if we want to see that better, we are going to say that our character is using the default skill slots. In order to do that, we're going to open that up, go to our create skill overlay. We're going to open up our skill overlay, go to graph, go to the class defaults, skill slots class. We want a class which is not loaded right now. We go to our content browser, go to contents, type in skill slot, right click the WGTX blueprint, and now we can specify that class in our skill icons. Then we can hit play, and when we hit our skill, we can see our skill slot is becoming green. That's the amount of time we have to recast the skill. And you can switch use any number of time you want. So for instance, we can say that we have 1 second to recast the skill, and it's switching. We don't want to consume the cost all the time, and we are not going to do it that way. We are going to do it in a more clever way. We are going to say that we only want to consume the cost there. If we execute the second or third use, we are going to switch the use once again, and we are going to change the main montage. We're going to drag a wire out of it and type in select just to make it so we have several. We're going to make several animations to play. We're going to copy and paste our executed use like this, and we are going to add 1, 2, 3 pins, I suppose, like this. And each time we have 1 second to recast the skill. If we hit compile and save, we're going to head back to our content browser, go to your animation folder. Mine is there, I believe. And I'm going to duplicate these animations. I want 4 of them. And I'm going to open them up and specify I want other animations. I'm going to drag and drop animations there. I'm just going to make sure what are the animations I'm using there. I'm using attack 2 and I'm using so I feel like it's not telling me what animation I'm using. Attack 2 and attack 4, I was looking at that spot. So 2 and 4, so we can use the 3. We can use the attack 3. And we can use the attack 4, 5 I mean. Like that. And we are going to head back to our BP slice, and we are going to say that the first time we want /1, then we want /2, then /3 and 4, like this. Hit compile, hit save. And then if we hit play, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's bugging, I feel. I'm going to specify that I have 2 seconds, and I'm going to just open them up real quick. Attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, I'm going to reverse 3 and 4. Like this, and I'm going to hit play. 1, 2, 3, 4. So root motion on client. One, 2, 3, 4. It's not behaving how it should, and I'm not sure why. We are consuming the costs the first time, then we are switching the use, then the second time and the first. And the third time we are switching the use once again. And I'm going to specify we want different icons for different uses. And we're going to have assault rifle, blink, block, and bolt, and we should never have assault rifle I believe. Or yes, we should. The first time we are switching that, and that's why it's bugging. We don't want to. We want to say there the first time we are executing this, we want the skill to become blink, the icon to become blink, and we want /2 to become the main montage. That's what was bugging. So first choose blink, then, and then. So it's triggering the last animation twice. But I'm not sure why. When we are resetting the use, we are not actually resetting the montage, and that's what's bugging. So we are going to reset the montage manually like this. So first use, second use, third use, fourth use, first, second, third, fourth. And as you can see on client, root motion sometimes gives clunky results. And if you don't trigger the if you don't trigger the recast, you don't get to reset the main montage, so we have to specify we want to reset the montage when we reset the use. When we reset the use, we actually want to override that function. We want to call its parent, right click, add call to parent function, and we want to reset the montage like this, and we want to delete that from here. Hit play, and then if we trigger the skill once and re-trigger it, it's going to trigger the proper animation like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's not resetting the icon. And I'm not sure if it's a client bug or not. In any case, it will be fixed after early access. So the same way I built the logic there to switch the use, you can use the same logic to trigger different gameplay effects. So for instance, I copy pasted this logic, the switch on use, and you can control drag your wire and say that the first time you are using your skill, for instance, you want to simply apply damage, and I'm going to get rid of the status. But maybe that all the other times you actually want to apply status, and you can specify any logic you want for each of your executed use and specify gameplay effects, different gameplay effects for each of them. So this is how you can use the switch use function, which is built in the skills. So it's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.